Creepers left to rise, buzz like crazy. Everybody's trying to steal my lady. Spiders in the mirror and things can't be right. Back to the scene of a Friday night, to a blessed collision still frozen tight. Spear drinkers, Cupid and the sound of her first chime. And why did you argue? We're dreaming of those eyes, the best part of my life. And when we make love, babe, wouldn't make a sound, the clock won't turn around.
Hello my friends, welcome back to another reading vlog. This is going to be maybe, possibly, depending on how much I have to say, a shorter reading vlog. Don't mind the camera bumping, that's just Kazi. Yeah. Someone mentioned in last week's vlog, I think, that they think Kazi gets jealous when I start talking, and I think you're completely right. Like, he is used to being in here and working with me, and I'm just quiet, and he's just quiet. And then as soon as I'm talking to the camera, like, he recognizes that I'm not giving that attention to him. Anyway, today is Friday, May 14th, and guess what is my birthday today? I turn 40 today, which is kind of unbelievable to me, but it's been a really good day. My family is here, so I'm going to keep this clip short because I want to go spend time with my family, but I have definitely been feeling a little bit stressed and overwhelmed with some life stuff and work stuff, mostly work stuff, and so I have not filmed any videos. I'm sorry, all you got last week was a vlog, but I just, you know, just felt really overwhelmed and kind of went into a little bit of survival mode where I just did what I had to do, and that was not filming videos. So I wanted to let you know what I'm reading right now first. Let's see if I can remember the character names. So I picked up What the Wind Knows by Amy Harmon. This book I have owned for a very long time, and I have put off reading it because I feel like it's going to be sad. I know this isn't a romance, this is a historical fiction with romantic elements in it, and I have a big suspicion that it will probably end in sadness based on where I'm at so far. I'm actually listening to the audiobook because the audiobook is free if you have Kindle Unlimited, which is very nice. So I am on chapter 5. Let me see if I can show you where that is in here. Oh, I missed it. Okay, so it's about right here. That's how far into it that I am right now. I just started listening to it last night, and I like the writing style. This is my first Amy Harmon. I've kind of avoided her because I feel like she's sad, which is odd, right? Because I love books that make me feel things, not necessarily sad books. Even though I love Brittany C. Cherry, and hers usually come with a little bit of heartbreak, as do Kennedy Ryan's. But anyway, I digress. So this book, I've been putting off reading it forever. I saw that the audio was free on Kindle Unlimited, and I thought, I'll just do that. So this book is about Anne Gallagher. I believe that is her name. Yes. And she grew up with just being entranced by the stories of Ireland from her grandfather. Like, she just had developed this huge love for it. So in the book, her grandfather passes away and she travels to his childhood home in Ireland to spread his ashes there. So that's pretty much what is happening right now. I'm a little bit further along in the plot than that. And as she is in Ireland to take care of her grandfather's ashes, she is sucked back into time in 1920 Ireland, where there is a war raging at the time. So I, in general, really dislike war fiction. I just don't want to read about it at all, pretty much. I don't like it. Like, it's gotta be real compelling to get me to read a wartime fiction, especially a wartime fiction with a romance. Like, you just know that's not going to be a good time, you know? But I have seen a few quotes from this, and the way the love story is described, I really want to experience it. And one of the reasons I picked this up right now is because this is on a video I filmed several months ago that was 5-star predicted reads. I predicted this would be 5 stars, and I'm almost done with reading all of the books on there, and so I wanted to finally get to this so I can wrap that up and come up with some new 5-star predictions. So at this point, there's no romance yet. It's just setting up the story. At this point, I'm honestly a little tiny bit bored. Like, there's just a lot of backstory that is happening, and this isn't necessarily a huge book, you know? It's not even 400 pages, and I'm already into it almost 100, and so I'm really curious to know how the romance gets to be so compelling. So at this point, I don't know how I feel if it's going to be a 5-star read or not. I do know a lot of people love this, so I think it could be a 4-star for sure, but I don't know about 5-star unless I get super wowed, which, you know, I'm hoping that I will. So this is what I am listening to on my audiobook, and then I wanted to talk about the physical book that I am reading because I am obsessed with it, and it is Twisted Love by Huang. This is a new release. I heard about this book because I saw Riley Marie post about it on Instagram, and she was raving about it, and so I was like, well. So I pre-ordered it on my Kindle and started it when it first came out, and then I had other reading things that I needed to get caught up on, like library books that need to go back, books for review, and anyway. So I started it and I didn't get to it, and then when I finished the Rake Appreciation Society book, which I really, really liked, which was After Midnight by Theresa Medeiros, I needed a new physical book to read, so I picked that up on my Kindle, and I'm loving it so much, honestly. The reason I picked it up last night is specifically because I saw Katie Robert TikTok talk about how, oh, everybody's talking about how this is brother's best friend romance, and she's like, that's not really my vibe, but you know what my vibe is Morality Chain. And girl, same. Morality Chain, I am here for it. I love a good Morality Chain romance so much, and I just am loving this book. So far, I'm 23% in, and I am very much enjoying this. So the premise of this book is, so we have Ava, who is the little sister of Josh. Ava has definitely got some trauma in her past that we haven't really unpacked yet, that she kind of has blocked her memories of that. She is sort of having an ex-boyfriend who's kind of harassing her a little bit and isn't wanting to leave her alone. So her brother Josh is going abroad for a year, and he asks his best friend Alex if he will kind of watch over Ava and protect her, because she's like 22 and Alex, I think, is 26. So that ends up happening, and Alex is really a cold stone man. Like, he doesn't have any warmth. Like, they joke that he doesn't show emotion, that he's a robot, except for a very, very small hints of that with Ava, and I am just living for those moments. So Alex ends up moving into her brother's house, which is right next door to Ava, and stuff happens. So I'm really excited about this one. I am really, really enjoying it. Like I said, like, I love that he is such a cold hero, but whenever, like, she does or says certain things, like, you can just see that, like, he kind of fights a smile. Like, I don't know, I'm really loving their dynamic, and it's very, very fun. I'm enjoying it a ton. So I'm super excited about that one. Honestly, that's the one that I am really excited to read right now. I just want to read it nonstop. But you know, when I'm up and doing stuff, I'm listening to, this audiobook. So I'm much less excited about this, although I know this has great potential to be a beautiful love story. I'm just real worried it's gonna be real sad, you know? And I am really, really loving Twisted Love. So those are the reading plans for this weekend. Hope to continue reading and finishing both of those before this vlog goes up. I'm pretty sure I will, because this isn't a very long audiobook, especially if you know, turn the speed up, which I do. Okay, and then I have a package to unbox here. I was contacted by Kindness and Candles, and they asked if they could send me some candles to share with you. This is not sponsored. I am not paid for this, but I did say, sure, you can send me some. I would love to see that. So let's see what we got in here. Do I see anything in the box? Woo! He's doing the sniff test. So here is their card, which is very, very cute. I really like that. They do have an Etsy shop and an Instagram. So I will have them linked down below if you'd like to check them out. As soon as I open the books, it smells really, really good. It smells fresh and a little bit flowery, which is nice. I love that. So let's see. Okay, cool. So it looks like we have some, this is, Kazi is very interested in this. This is beautifully packaged. These are wax melts, which is nice. I really like that. You can smell all this stuff, huh? This one is adorable. It says it is historical romance reader. Cherry blossoms, magnolia, and peaches. Very cute. I love that. Let's see if we can open this and do a big sniff. Are you sad because you can't smell it? I'll let you smell it. Let me open it and I'll let you smell it. Ooh, it's so pretty. Look, it's got sparkles and glitter. Here, smell it. It smells so good. Do I smell? I think he likes it. I love that. That is very nice. That's really, really beautiful. This is the historical romance one, which is adorable. Really like that. All right, let's see. What else have we here? Oh, cool. I'm not entirely sure what that is, so I'm wondering if there is a note. Let's see. I think that is maybe a sample. Oh wait, there's another one. Okay, cool. I'm sorry, I'm making a mess, but I want to make sure I get everything out of here. Don't eat those, Kazi. Don't eat them. No. Okay. Okay, I think I've got everything. So it looks like I also got some samples for I Am But Paper and Evelyn. So let's see what these are. This one is Evelyn. Ooh, that smells really... I was gonna let you smell it. I wish you could smell it. This smells really floral and this smells like spring. Like, this smells like spring blossoms to me. So maybe some lilac or something like that. It smells really good. I like that one a lot. And now this one is I Am But Paper. Ooh, that one smells really fresh and clean. This one reminds me of like a linen type of scent, like a fresh linen. So that is super fun. And then it looks like we got an actual candle along with the wax melts. Kazi is super interested in this. Oh, this is so cute. So look. So this is an actual jar candle for... Look how cute, little jar. All I want is such a cute jar. I'm sorry about my voices. It happens when Kazi's in here. So this is the historical romance reader. I love the smell of that. It smells super good. Like the peaches, look at the glitters in that. Isn't that beautiful? That is awesome. I am so excited about these. Thank you so much, Tay, for sending these beautiful... I mean, the candles are just beautiful. The quality looks really, really great, and I really love the scent. So thank you so much for sending me those. I cannot wait to try them. I hope to have a bath this week, and I just blew packing peanuts everywhere. I hope to have a bath this weekend and use some of my Lush stuff. So when I do that, I will light that candle, and that will be beautiful and really fun. So thank you so much. And I'm awkward sometimes. Thanks so much for being here for another reading vlog. I'll check back in when I have something to report on these books. Hello, my friends. Welcome back for a reading update. So I finished What the Wind Knows by Amy Harmon, and this was not a 5-star for me. This was on my 5-star predictions list. I really felt like I was going to love it. I had heard that this had a really epic, beautiful romance in here, and I disagree with that. In my opinion, this is... Okay, I have a lot of thoughts. So I ended up giving this 3 stars. I sort of wavered. There was a time when I was really wavering, like, is it a 4-star, is it a 3-star? Because this book is so well loved. This has a 4.5 average rating on Goodreads. People genuinely love and adore this book, and I think that is wonderful if that is you. I know a lot of people loved this, and I had seen like some quotes, some specific quotes from the the hero's point of view, like, I kind of struggle to call them hero and heroine because this isn't a romance. This is definitely historical fiction with romantic elements in it. But I had seen some quotes from the hero's point of view where he was talking about how he had the love he had for Anne. And they were so beautiful. They were just beautifully written, and I just felt like, wow, this book is going to wow me for sure. But it really just didn't, and so this is where I feel like I am an unpopular opinion in this book, and I think it really comes down to, if I had known a little more about this book, I would never have guessed this. I would never have predicted this would be 5 stars. I was literally only going off of the quotes that I had seen about what the hero had to say about how much he loved the heroine. And while there were those moments in here where it was really beautifully written about how he loved her and how deep their love was and things like that, it was really beautiful. I really honestly wasn't sold on the romance 100%, and I feel like that's largely because of the way this was set up, in that it is a time traveling aspect to it, and so she goes back in time. There's no explanation as to why that happens, and I heard a lot of people be like, oh, that's fine. And honestly, I don't know that I've only really ever read 2 time-traveling books, and there really wasn't an explanation for it, although I think that The Surviving Trace by Callie Reed does time-traveling romance better. This book is one of my favorite books ever. I haven't read this for probably 3 years, but I really loved it. It's independently published. It is a time-traveling romance, and it's fantastic. So if you're asking me which of these I would recommend this more than this. I just honestly was really disappointed in this, and I feel like I can see the merit in this. I can understand why people love it, but it's just not for me. It is very, very, very heavily, it leans very heavily into the historical fiction aspect of it, and at times it definitely feels a little bit textbooky, as it's giving you the history of the war and the Irish people, and there is even a mention in here of the Spanish flu epidemic, and to be quite honest, I have zero desire to read about a pandemic ever, 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 ever in my fiction, and especially in my romance. Like, I don't want to read about that, and it wasn't a huge aspect of the plot, but I read it and I was like, nope, skip over that. So I think that if you prefer, and I'm guessing that very few of my watchers prefer historical fiction to romance, this really isn't a romance. It's definitely historical fiction, and I knew that going in, but I felt like what I had heard about the romance would be so strong that I would still really love it. But this was definitely one of those books where I read about half of it before anything really started to happen, plot-wise. There was just a lot of background story, a lot of just history in there, and I just was bored, honestly, like, very bored. The audiobook is really well narrated, though. I would also say if you are interested in reading this and you like audiobooks, I would recommend that because it's really beautifully done. You have a male and a female voice narrating, and they have some really beautiful Irish lilts to their voices, so that was really enjoyable. I liked that a lot. But overall, the story was just extremely slow, and I felt like the payoff that I wanted, the epic romance, just didn't deliver for me, and so I feel a little bit let down, but I also feel like hopefully I don't upset anybody. Like, it's still a good book. It's a 3-star. A 3-star is still a good read. It's just not one of my favorites, and this is not one that I would recommend to people who want to read like I want to read. Like, I love emotionally driven, relationship-driven romances, and while this was emotional, it definitely felt more like a little bit Nicholas Sparksy in the way that it just definitely seemed to play into tragedy. I just didn't love it. I don't know. I will say the ending was really beautiful, but also it wasn't enough to bump it up to 5 stars. So this is, again, one of those books where I feel like I can see why people love it, and I can see the good in this book, but it just isn't enough to compensate for what to me were some significant drawbacks. And that's largely just that I didn't really buy into their romance at all. There was really very little of them actually falling in love. And I just don't like that ever. You know, I don't like that when that doesn't happen because it's just all spice. And I don't like that when that happens, when it's just all boring history like this, you know? So I want to watch them fall in love. I want to watch their relationship and their emotional connection happen. And I didn't get that here. So this is probably one of the most disappointing books that I have read in a very long time, because I bought this book when it came out several years ago and I had such high expectations for it. I just had a feeling I was going to love it and I just didn't. And so yeah, I feel kind of sad about that. And I was like torn between giving it a 4-star because I can see the merit here. I can see this is a very intelligently written book. It's really, the writing is very beautiful. I really think that the concept in theory is really great, and I could definitely see how this would appeal to readers who prefer literary fiction, but I just didn't like it. At this point in my life, I am over reading, I'm done reading books just because they're intelligent and just because it, you know, like this book doesn't feel pretentious at all. Like it's really just a beautifully written book. It's really well crafted, but I need more emotion and I need more story than I got out of this, and I just felt like I got just a ton of really slow history, like textbook history. So that is my rant, and very disappointed in this book, and I am sorry if you love this book. I feel like so many people have read this and so many people love this that I am probably hurting your hearts if you were one of those, but it just didn't do it for me, like, pretty much at all. I also feel like, to me, reading time is so precious. Even when I'm listening to an audiobook, if I am not really invested and engaged in that story, if I am bored at all, I start to kind of almost resent the book. And I almost DNF'd this, but I didn't, because I just kept thinking, you know, I had heard a few people who had DNF'd it and they're like, oh, it gets so much better after that. And it did, but it just was never enough for me. So disappointed in this. Heavily historical fiction, very little romance. The romance that you got, you know, is very much like reflection on how they feel about this person in the future looking back, and that's all beautiful, well and good, but it just wasn't enough for me. So I didn't love it. 3 stars. It's still a really beautiful book, just definitely not for me. So if I had known that the historical fiction aspect of that was so heavy, I would not have predicted that would be 5 stars. Well, and I feel like that's kind of unfair to say, because I think that my review is coming across in that I need, like, a really strong romance for me to give a book 5 stars, and while I'm not gonna lie, like, that will usually end up being a 5-star book, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. I enjoy reading books in all genres, and it doesn't have to be romance to get a 5-star for me, but this just was so slow and so dense with historical facts that I just was not into it. So, didn't love it. 3 stars. In my opinion, if you were looking for a time-traveling, historical aspect romance, I would check out The Surviving Trace by Callie Reid if you haven't read it yet, because it's fantastic and I really enjoyed it. So, alright, that's it for this clip. I am going to read one more book to include in this vlog, and I will let you know my thoughts and feelings on Twisted Love when I finish it. Okay, so it's bath time. I'm very excited to use my Lush stuff I got from Mother's Day shopping I did in my last reading vlog. And I have Diet Coke and tea. And then I have this gigantic bubble bar, which I'm going to cut up because that's just wasteful to use the whole thing. So I have this knife, and we're going to just cut off this little boy right here. It would help if I mean, maybe this will work. Maybe this is a bad idea to do. I worked. Okay. Look. Wow. That's cool, huh? These are so neat. So, I don't know. I'm sure you've used these before. You just crumble it in and then I'll turn the water on when I get in, and it's going to bubble so much, it's going to be wonderful. Look at my hands. Very pink. And now we shall cue the B-roll music.
and see the seedlings now a tree, and all that's wild is free.
Hello my friends, and welcome back to this last vlog clip. In this vlog, I have really gotten off schedule and just, you know, I explained at the beginning of this, life just kind of hit me last week and I have really struggled to keep up with everything, and so booktube videos kind of got pushed down. But I really enjoyed filming this shorter vlog. I hope you've enjoyed watching it, and yeah, I'm sorry that it was a little rushed, that it didn't come out on the regular day, and that it only talked about 2 books. So let me give you my final thoughts on the last book that I read. It is Twisted Love by Huang, and I loved this book so much. I really, really loved it. There were so many things about this book that just completely worked for me. This was one of those books that I picked up and I didn't want to stop reading until I was finished. I ended up giving it 5 stars, although I will say that for a time, probably about 3/4 of the way through, I kind of wavered about, I think this is a solid 4-star, I think this is going to be a 4-star read for me, but in the back of my mind I'm like, sometimes when I'm thinking that about a book, the ending or something really that is one of my specific things that I love can happen and it will push it to a 5 for me, and that's what happened in this book. So even though, like, I originally rated it a 4 on Goodreads, I went back in about 10 minutes after thinking about it and changed it to a 5 because I really just loved it. I thought it was beautiful and I adored this love story. I thought it was just so perfect. I mean, it's not a perfect book, okay? Like, when I've seen the criticisms for it, I think they are valid, but for me, it was one of those books that was so incredibly enjoyable that I was able to look past those. Like, they didn't bother me at all. I was just completely caught up in the story. I, with all my heart, believed their love story. It was just beautiful. I loved it so much. So a few things that I think were what was kind of putting it at a 4-star instead of a 5-star for me was that it was a little bit, it did have a lot of elements that could be seen as overdramatic. I think that there were some background plot additions that I found to be really interesting and that kept me compelled to find out the mystery. There's a little bit of a mysterious element to know what went on in both Ava and Alex's past, to kind of find out why they have the trauma that they have at this time in their life. And so I was waiting to find that out. So there was a point where we kind of put the love story on the back burner and then the plot kind of took over. But then pretty soon it was all straight back to the love story. So the last quarter of the book was just them, the third act conflict in their romance, and it was beautiful. And the way this hero groveled for the heroine was completely epic, and it was just so beautiful, and everything to me just completely worked. Like, this was a 5-star read. I feel like I am very emotional about it, and while I can see, I don't want to defend it, right? This is my channel. I loved this book. I'm giving it 5 stars. But sometimes I rate a book 5 stars and people will read it and they're like, well, you know, and so I'm sort of like, well, that's valid, that's fair. But for me, the reading experience, the enjoyment that I got, and the way it made me feel allowed me to look past those things, right? Like, I've said this before in a lot of my vlogs. Every book has flaws, and it depends on, and I could say that about the book that I was talking about earlier, right? They all have flaws, and it depends on if something about that story is so compelling or is so personal or connects with us so much, if it's going to allow us to overlook those. You know what I mean? And this is where I feel like rating books gets just so deeply personal. And in a way, when I think about that really deeply, or when I think about that a lot, it can really feel scary to rate, review, and talk about books online, right? Especially, I think, in YouTube videos for me, because this is where I sit and tell you all my passionate emotions that I'm feeling about these books. And I'm sure that the way that I talk about them may inspire other people to pick them up, but that doesn't mean they're going to have the same reaction as I did, you know? Even if we agree on how we feel about certain books, and like I said, I could say the same thing about What the Wind Knows. I know that has hit emotionally with a lot of readers. It just didn't for me. It just didn't work for me, and that's okay, you know? Anyway, This book, Twisted Love, I loved it so much. I immediately ordered the paperback special edition so I could have this beautiful new cover. I cannot wait to get it. I'll show it to you when it comes in next week's vlog. And I adored it. This hero was so protective of the heroine. Like, he to me, he really epitomizes that type of hero that hates everyone but her, you know, like the morality chain trope in this was so well done. He is a very bad guy and he does some very bad things, but only for her is he soft and tender, and it's just my literal favorite thing. I adored it. I just can't even tell you how much I loved that. It was, when I heard Katie Robert talk about the morality chain, that is what finally inspired me to pick it up, and I'm so glad I did because I agree with her completely. The morality chain aspect of it, hate everyone but you vibes, would, you know, touch her and I'll kill you type of hero, like that is exactly this hero, and I loved it. I just loved it. So I don't know, it was a great one, and I can't wait to read more from this author. I know there's going to be the second book, I think comes out in July. I can't remember what it's called, but we see those characters in this book, and it's basically a princess and her bodyguard book, so I'm very much looking forward to that. So yeah, this was a fun read. This one, and surprisingly for me, I mean, I didn't think I was gonna like it, and I didn't vlog about it because we did our whole live show about it. Let me see if I can find the book. This was our book for the Rank Appreciation Society that I do with Jen, and we just had our live show last week. This ended up being one of my favorite books of the week. I freaking loved this. I thought it was a ton of fun. Again, it had a lot of flaws that I was just able to look over and just enjoy the fun of this book. So I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars, but Twisted Love was probably my favorite book I read this week. I just loved it. I don't know. I've seen a lot of hype about it. I've seen it all over TikTok. I've seen, like, there are a lot of reviews for this book already, and I feel like it's worth the hype because I just enjoyed it a ton. I loved it. It was a 5-star read for me. So if you are looking for a very protective hero and the I hate everyone but you vibes, touch her and I'll kill you vibes, definitely pick this up. Like, I'm kind of wishing that I had read this before I filmed my Protective Heroes video because, yeah, that's Alex. That is him all over. So that was a very fun read. So that one and After Midnight were my favorite books for the week. And unfortunately, I didn't vlog about this because I pretty much ended up reading this all in one day. I took the afternoon off from work and just binged it and just marathoned it. And it was just so good. I loved it. So, all right, that is all I'm going to include for this week's vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you enjoyed it, and feel free to, if you have watched it this far and you'd like to let me know that you were here, please leave me a yellow heart. That would be awesome. If you have a yellow heart. If you don't have a yellow heart, just leave a heart. Any heart is fine. You don't have to leave yellow. I just thought, I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna go edit this video and get it up for you soon. So thank you so much for watching, my friends. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're new here, please subscribe. And if you are not, thanks for sticking with me, and I'll see you in my next video.